What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at Data Dash, and today is April 20th of 2019. Well, folks, I hope you are having a fantastic day wherever you are. I'm currently actually in San Francisco. I just landed here a couple hours ago from a long flight from Sydney, Australia, and we actually might do a Project Genesis meetup. So if you guys are interested, definitely join the Telegram alerts group that's linked down below in the description. You have to dig a little bit deep into getting it, but it's in there somewhere. And today on the update, we're going to be talking about the general state of the market, but also talk about kind of the class of altcoins that I'm looking at if we do see more risk taking and see Bitcoin rally up towards 6,000, and talking about the longer term altcoin cycle that could be coming up in the next few months. So we've got lots of things to discuss. Let's not push it off any longer, but real quick, a message from our sponsor. Our sponsor for this episode is XDAT, an up-and-coming EU cryptocurrency exchange that has recently launched the Bullwhip movement with the aim of bringing crypto to all. And they want you to become a part of the movement as they're investing over 1 million euros to build the world's largest crypto trading community. By participating in the Bullwhip movement, you can earn incentives worth up to over 2,000 euros in their native token, in addition to earning an exclusive XDAT community token. Do you want to learn more how to earn all these rewards? Check out the links down below in the description, which will detail everything you need to know about the Bullwhip movement as well as XDAT. All right, everyone, so let's go ahead and take a brief look over the market overview. Over the last 7 days, cryptocurrency markets are mostly in the green at the moment. Again, no serious substantial moves as Bitcoin continues to push to the side here. We'll go ahead and take a look at market valuations. As we can see here, creeping right back up to this range we had through the early part of April here, around 180 billion. And I think a lot of people are obviously looking at this and thinking, you've got people on both sides. You've got people who think this is probably going to be a double, or what you could almost say is a triple top, as you had one over here around 180 billion, one here at 183 billion, and over here again possibly as a triple top, which would lead towards a reversal back downward. And some people also think that this is an ascending triangle. This is where TA is going to get very subjective, guys. But again, I'll go ahead and I'll explain my rationale for what I think is going to happen. If we take a look here at Bitcoin dominance, we're about 52% here. Again, my target range is going to be about 52.5%, as it'd be a 1% reduction from the previous high here. And we've seen a similar pattern beforehand in Bitcoin dominance, where we have these lowering highs in this case. Now, why do I believe we're still confident on the idea of getting to 6,000 in the short term? Look, guys, I'm not sold on the idea that we're in the bull market just yet, as I've kind of brought that up a good amount of times. The idea here is that we're setting higher lows each and every time. The volume obviously is nothing extremely substantial, but it is higher, not to mention at a higher price range. So I do like to see this. It's optimistic, and it's nice to see altcoins carrying as well. But Bitcoin really leading the market here. It's what you kind of need in the first phase here, because when we start to see Bitcoin leading in markets, especially from bottoms, this means that new liquidity is entering. We saw that these 2 days here, April 2nd and April 3rd, a huge amount of trading volume coming in. Big buyers coming in who probably can't get their orders filled on OTC, so they're buying it on spot market. That means the institutions or the whales, whatever you want to label it as, are starting to pick up that capital in this case. So you can get some serious FOMO here. As we can see, as easy as it was for Bitcoin to break down, this is the key message I really want to propose here as to why I think 6,000 is very reasonable. It was very easy for Bitcoin to drop in half here throughout November and December. Don't believe that it cannot happen on the opposite side, that FOMO, just like FUD, can carry prices higher, right? So I believe that we're going to be seeing 6,000 over the next few days. I've talked about how, for example, NVT is overextended. Doesn't matter. It can carry on for a while. In fact, we're not in the range that we've seen NVT top out at. We're still a little bit of ways away. So with more transactional volume, we have some room here to see a higher price for Bitcoin. And I think it's going to go to 6,000. We're going to get a very sharp rejection and close lower. And also, playing with that view of market dominance, I think when we get to 6,000, Bitcoin dominance is going to get to around 52.5%, and we're going to set a lower high on this dominance and start to turn over. Does that mean altcoins are ready for the run-up? No, I don't know about that just yet. We'll have to see if that liquidity that's been entered in here starts to go into altcoins. I don't really see a mass amount going into it, but I am starting to get a little bit more confident on altcoins at the moment. So as we take a look at the broader market, what are some of the tokens and coins that I'm looking at? Well, let's go ahead. There's really two different categories here. There's really the large and mid caps that are well established, and then you've got a whole range of speculative altcoins and tokens, some ICOs. I'm not really dabbling in a lot of ICO tokens, but really a whole range of small speculative coins that I think people are trying to get the next 10x or 20x or 30x, maybe even more. So let's go ahead and talk about the kind of climate for both of those different categories. I want to start off by taking a look at the large and mid caps. Now, there are some mid-cap cryptocurrencies, for example, some of the peer-to-peer currencies that have gotten me relatively excited. I love how, for example, XMR has not had an extended rally. It's, in fact, just been setting higher lows here. And I think, what we want to look for here is for this to come back down another 100,000 sats, set another low here, and, set a set of a triple bottom. Sorry, I'm tumbling on my words here. A rising triple bottom here where we're setting higher levels each and every time, and then eventually a break above the 200-day moving average, which has obviously been weighing down price ever since we broke through. And again, this is at the range where you just kind of can get confident in the Bitcoin comparative on some of these steady plays. I mean, this is where we had the bottom here in August, continued rally there throughout the summer, right here in November before the rally into December. And again, we've seen this is a time-tested level here for Monero. But it's not just Monero. You can take a look at plays like Dash as well. Now, again, the big emphasis here, as we can see, we tested a very long-term historical line of support here for the USD chart, and it looks like we might be able to make support on the 200-day. If not, we're going to be possibly setting in a higher third low, just like we were talking about the Monero. No matter what, guys, we can pinch pennies here and try to predict when it's going to bottom. I'm not here to do that. I'm a swing trader. I play the bigger cycles, as I think most of you all do as well. I think most of us don't try to dabble in day trading. But my point here is that these are starting to get to levels where you can start to feel that the market is going to be ready to start taking some risk. And I think even though you're not going to be getting your 5Xs and your 10Xs comparative to Bitcoin, and in many of these plays, I think you could actually get one here with Dash if we get back up to this range. That being said, even though it's not the double-digit multipliers that everyone got in the last cycle, these are some pretty nice, safe bets when risk-taking comes into the market that you can start to trade on and you can just start to ride the wave on. So again, I'd say that I'm not going to recommend anyone buy any of these. I'm just saying these are stable plays that have been around for a while, have been making developments. Monero had bullet proofs implemented, which made transaction fees much lower for all the heavy encryption that goes into an average transaction, and all the technologies that Monero is implementing is very exciting, as well as Dash. I just talked to Ryan Taylor not too long ago, and Dash has got so many exciting things coming up. They've got Dash 0.14 coming up. Again, not shilling it, just letting you all know there's some really exciting things going on in this bear market, to not really sleep on it, and to look at those players that are actually doing things while the market has remained silent. Now, you do have some plays as well that are in the top that are way too overextended. I'll talk, for example, about Litecoin. Now, I know you guys, a lot of you like Litecoin, not trash talking it in any sense. I'm fine with the project, and I'm really excited if they do implement Mimblewimble. They would be the largest private cryptocurrency. I don't see it happening soon, though, in my opinion. This has been holding nicely on the 50-day. But to be fair, guys, I buy Litecoin between 800,000 and 1 million Satoshis, this range here, right? This has been a historically proven range for rallies, right? And we got that with Litecoin, but I don't see much room for this to go. I mean, you could possibly get it up here and make a few more, percentage points here, but honestly, I don't like to take this kind of risk, especially seeing as we're tethering around the 50-day here. If we don't hold this, then I think you're going to break downward, right? So again, you're not leaving much room for the bull market to carry this. Another one as well, people keep bringing up to me, is Binance Coin, BNB. Right? So what's my opinion on Binance Coin? Binance Coin has, again, continued to break the mold of any expectations. I'll be fair, I was thinking that we'd start to get the pullback here on it, so I'd like to show you guys when I'm right and also when I'm wrong. But this is also something we did talk about as being a potential possibility, and this is why, again, on a lot of cryptocurrencies, I've started to take a look at the USD chart. What we're doing is we're coming right back up to the highs here of January, right? So I don't see much room for this to go much higher, in my opinion. I think you're going to get shot down. If anything, you're going to get shot down here, and you might have a chance to find support at maybe one of the big evens, like 12 or 16 or 18, something like that, and then move up higher as altcoins really start to move higher in the market. But guys, unless Binance can continue to keep up the hype with the IEO train, which I'm not partaking in personally, I don't think the decentralized exchange is going to push enough value for BNB. Maybe speculatory wise, but I do not see any actual serious demand to trade DEXs right now. It's just my opinion. I think DEXs are the future. I think that people are going to be the actual sole custodial managers of their funds in the near future, but we don't have, I think, the comfortable feeling because we don't have that technology just yet, and it's not streamlined. With all due respect, I think that DEXs are doing some great work across the board. I just don't think we're at that point yet. And I just think this is way too overextended. Just back, a few months ago in December of 2018, Binance Coin was trading at $4.50. Do you really want to buy something, that's gone up almost 5x in this case, stepping into a bull market now? I mean, again, it's just something that my risk to reward at this stage, especially with the parabolic nature of it and not seeing a major increase in volume, given that you are trading at a higher price range, I'll give it that. I just honestly don't feel like I want to dabble with this just yet. It's riding off of too much hype without too much real fundamental demand. All right, so those are some things that I wanted to discuss in regards to the large and mid caps. When we talk about the smaller caps, the risk-taking plays, what are some things that I'm watching? Well, one thing that I am watching is Grin. I've talked about Grin for a while, but I'm not going to recommend anyone really pick up Grin until you start to see a reversal in the trend. We've been seeing this continue to decline. I apologize. It's always that they have the long wicks here. So I'm going to go ahead and get it right on the point here where we actually get the real price action. And we can see here that it's had about a 1/3 depletion. It's gone down to 1/3 of what it was originally compared to Bitcoin. This has to do with Grin's inflation rates. One of my biggest gripes with it. I love the project. It's one of the cool open source projects that's come out of, really out of nowhere and stuff over the last few months, and has really gotten me excited, and especially in this bear market, to see development going on. And I want to see the project continue to carry forward because I like Mimblewimble, but I'm going to wait for the trend to reverse on this one. But I'm keeping an eye on it. So I recommend you guys do the same. Just keep an eye on it. I'm not recommending you guys buy or in any way or shape or form. I'm not showing it. I just like the cryptocurrency and I like the concept as well. If Litecoin doesn't implement Mimblewimble in the next few months or have any serious plans to, you're going to get the opportunity to probably play a speculative play on this, whether or not you like it long term or not, or whether or not you're bullish on privacy coins. I really think that it's going to be essential. It's peer-to-peer currency. If that's what you're trying to build at the end of the day, you need that cash aspect. You need the privacy. Another one I'm watching as well, and it has actually been getting a decent amount of volume on even on Switch.io, is the next token for Nash. So we all know Nash has been one of the exchanges that a lot of people are looking forward to, the decentralized exchange. I'm keeping an eye on this possibly breaking down below this range and going down to a big even, maybe for example, going somewhere maybe for half of what we had up here around 24, I guess I'm trying to think in terms of Satoshis here. 24 100ths of a NEO coin. I'm looking for one of these big even support levels after we break down through here and a change and possibly a reversal. Again, I like exchange tokens. This is one of the few that is not so overextended, and it's in the top 200 of cryptocurrencies, so you're not talking too much risk. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on the Nash token here. Right? I think that there's an interesting opportunity at play here. There's been lots of optimism around the project. And as more NEP tokens come up in the space, obviously you're going to have demand for tokens of this sort. So keeping an eye on those. Those are really two plays that I'm watching. But I'll be sure to let you all know if I find some other altcoins that I'm watching across the market. There's a lot, but so many of them are just, honestly, too many of them are in risk areas where I don't feel comfortable with, especially in this environment where Bitcoin dominance is already extremely high, right? So let's go ahead. Take a look down here. I want to take a look at one piece of news, and that is the recent statements from Andrew Yang, one of the presidential candidates in the United States for the 2020 elections, one of the Democratic candidates, who's actually called for clear crypto regulations. Now, I've been keeping up with Andrew Yang and the phenomena of the Yang Gang and stuff on Twitter and everything. I watched him when he came on Joe Rogan originally. Go figure. Nicholas listens to Joe Rogan. What can I say? A college dropout, Joe Rogan. No, I'm just kidding. But I do actually love the Joe Rogan podcast. And this was a really interesting episode because I'd always been interested in the topic of UBI, which is really his kind of campaign platform. And I used to be very skeptical of UBI, but made me think about it in a very different way, and at least gave me some opportunity to see potential for it in the United States. Now, that being realized, putting that aside, I know that's all politics, I want to talk about this idea that cryptocurrencies could actually be a topic for the next election, especially if we end up by 2020, or really, I would say probably in the full swing of the political season. In this case, going into 2020. If we start to see a bull market coming back up, this is going to be a topic of discussion, especially as well if we start to get some hectic behavior within financial markets. We've talked about a potential breaking point coming through on equities. For example, I'm watching on the NASDAQ here, a potential break downward through this ascending triangle. If Fed policy doesn't come through on this day, we can have a serious breakdown and a continued set of fear in the market. Now, that's all besides the point. The major thing that Andrew Yang is pushing is really, having a framework of understanding what cryptocurrencies are, under what labels, if something is a security, what kind of framework can we establish to make sure that every participant knows what they're engaging in? How can we open up opportunities for investors, but at the same time run it in a safe framework? Much more of a liberal position, but at the same time still keeping in that democratic philosophy, I think, of kind of a government oversight in this case. And again, I think everyone has different opinions on it, but it's at least nice to see someone talking about this. They also mentioned as well, I think Elizabeth Warren had made a comment down here as well, talking about the challenge being as to how to nurture productive aspects of crypto with protecting consumers. And I know a lot of you out there probably fit more into the libertarian camp. It's the idea of like, hey, I get to make my own investment decisions, right? I don't need the SEC telling me what opportunity is, a viable investment opportunity. And I honestly, guys, I hold a very middle down view on this because I came from that original libertarian viewpoint, but I'm also not as hawkish because I know how much regulation can stifle opportunity for everyday people. It usually turns to be counterproductive. But I don't find it silly to think that we can find some common ground. And I saw just equally how many people got wrecked and destroyed by the lack of oversight from regulators in the past run-up. And sometimes you got to get burnt. I think it's one of the best ways to learn, but not with your life savings, right? That's something that I really don't feel comfortable with in that case, is people just being able to put up serious amounts of money in that case. But then again, maybe it's not my opinion to judge who can do who can do, whatever they want with their money, right? That's everyone's choice. So, anyways, good thing to see here. I'd like to know what you all think about this. What do you think you'd like, out of all the things that there is in the topic of crypto regulations, what's something that you'd like to see defined this year? And also from the comments that Andrew Yang did put out, we won't go into the depths today. He did publish his policies if you guys would like to check this out on Yang 2020. If you guys want to go through it and look at it, you're welcome to. I'd like to know what you all think about this. Also, what altcoins are you watching in the market, guys? What things are getting you excited at the moment? Or are you staying away from altcoins? Do you think that we're going to be setting lower lows in the crypto market? Let's get a discussion going. Let's have it, guys. As always, we got to learn from one another, and I always love hearing from you guys down in the comments. But until the next video, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all are having a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you all in the next video. Stay tuned.